So that's something I never even considered. So he's saying he's still banged up, not fully healed from when he slid on first base.
Well, not still banged up, but he said it affected him to the point where he's not as fast as he was.
Well, yeah,
Right,
so he's still banged up.
Yes.
So he hadn't healed properly, or it just he's deteriorated from that.
Or he's just hesitant because it's in the back of his mind. Maybe he feels fine, but
but he should still be able to sprint after balls in the open field.
Yeah,
it's one thing. One thing. Okay, you want to shy away from the wall.
He's not as fast.
He's just saying he's slower.
Yeah, so that means he's deteriorated since then.
Slightly, yeah, that's what they're saying.
First I've heard of that.
Well, we don't pay attention to stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just see him not get to a ball or drop a ball or
misplay a ball.
Misplay a ball, and we're thinking, all right, well,
he's not that good. I just think he's not that good a fielder.
We're not thinking about the fact that he had a pretty serious injury. All right, keep going.
So there's a lot of things going on here. Harper's leg injury last year has changed him a bit. His sprint speed is down. It's tied for the third biggest drop this season of any player. As a result, his defensive metrics are down. He can't run as well. Now, it's not a shock or a knock on him. That was a serious knee injury. The fact that Harper even made it back for the playoffs last year, remarkable. But he's not playing with abandon. Not yet. Now, even with the StatCast or process numbers saying he's hitting the ball hard, there is, though, a place where the barrels go to die, and that is the extreme shift. Harper has gotten predictable, and defenses are waiting. Harper hits 56% of his ground balls and line drives to the right side, and defenses have set up shop to collect even. Go back to 2015, the MVP season. Defenses shifted on Bryce Harper only 18% of the time. It went up the last 2 years to over 20%, and now look at this season, 56%. It's nearly a full-time shift, in certain situations. Harper can wait until they legislate against it, but that might take a while. We'll see soon if he can start hitting around it or over it. But being one-dimensional is going to cost him a lot of money.
That's what it is. That's more than anything what it is. They're just shifting on him 56% of the time, where in years past they were doing like 10 or 20%.
Yeah.
That's what's killing him.
His pull rate, they said 56%. His pull rate is at a career high 48% according to this.
So now he's going to have to adapt somehow.
Yeah, so his pull rate's 48%, but they're shifting on him 56% of the time.
Yeah,
they're just sitting there waiting for him.
He hit 3 balls to the opposite side field yesterday,
which is progress.
Now,
one at bat I saw, I pulled, but
okay. So the other 3 were pretty weak. The double, I guess, was a little blooper over third baseman's head or where the third baseman would have been playing.
That's fine. That'll keep him honest.
The other 2 were just kind of weak fly balls to left field.
I like the progress. To me, that's progress.
But it's interesting that that Kenny was breaking out those numbers because most fans have no idea what those mean, and that they
I didn't realize
exist.
they were shifting on him that much.
All right, so later they talked about Harper for a good 20 minutes. So later in the show, there was a little round table. It was Brian Kenny, John Heyman, Dan O'Dowd, and another writer, and they were talking about Bryce Harper and why he's struggling. This is some of the conversation here.
There's a lot of things going on here, but there's something. I mean, there's something here. He's not that good right now.
I got a different take on it, I think, than anybody probably at the panel. I believe this is good for Bryce. Painful to watch, but ultimately I believe he's trying to figure out what kind of player he is. He's learning to compete when competing is really hard to do. And it's okay to fail. He just needs to understand why he's failing. To me, BK, I think he's a safer investment if he comes out of this. And by coming out of this, I mean he understands how to deal with these situations when he gets in them, because there's been some inconsistencies in his career up to this point in time. I think he's handling it emotionally actually pretty well for a relatively young player, and I think in the long run he's going to be a better player because of this.
But that's the big if, right? If he comes out of it. And, I'm always into the high human drama on all these stories, right? This is a guy, he was a kid, he was brash, he was obnoxious, he was overconfident, he incredibly talented, right? And now he's hit this first real string of adversity for the first time. Every major figure in public life, whether you're in sports or anything else, hits that moment.
Right.
Do you come out of it or not? It can crush you, and you're never the same. Or you bounce through it. And when you bounce through it and you learn the lessons, and you're a deeper, more mature, more stable, more grounded player or person, you're going to be way better, and he's 25 years old.
No,
his skills aren't going to start to deteriorate for another 5, 7, 8 years. He could be a monster, or this year could crush him and he could never be the same.
Oh, there's never, see that, that's like such an overreaction.
Just the mental piece of it, I think.
He's had a Ted Williams season. 460 on
I agree
base.
with that.
He slugged 650.
I agree, but he's still 25 years old. Remember what you were like when you were 25? What happens when the game is so mental? What happens if you start to doubt yourself?
I was struggling in UHF TV, so that was
Player starts to doubt himself.
No doubt.
Oh, really?
What happens?
I mean, come on. Now the thing is, I think there's no doubt. I'd put money on it. I wouldn't put $400 million on it, but I put money on him coming out. He's going to be fine. But the question is, it comes down to, hey, you could love the player and know he's going to be back, but we're talking, are you going to push $40 million a year or $35 a year for 10 years?
All right, so I want to throw this question out to Nats fans. First of all, do you think he's going to come out of it? I do. I think he's going to come out of it. How far he comes out, I don't know. But the Nats are going to need him to come out if they're going to win this division because the Braves aren't going away. So 800-636-1067. And then the second question is, do you have theories on why he's struggling? You know, could be more of a mental thing. Maybe it's physical. Who knows?